Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to our first interview by the Trailblazer Times. I am the editor-in-chief, Jasmine Winters, as well as the interviewer. And today we will be discussing VirtuELL reality, featuring our very own online campus English language development teacher, Mr. Renion. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Renion. How are you?
Good afternoon, Miss Winters. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. And you?
I'm doing amazing, thank you. And thank you so much for allowing us to interview you.
Thank you
Um,
also for having me.
Thank you. So I first want to start off by inquiring, what does your roles and responsibilities entail as the English language development teacher?
Well, here at the online campus, I joined the team, by the way, back in the school year 2021-2022 during its maiden year. So I was hired as an ELD or English Language Development teacher, educator to cater to at the time, we had some couple of students who were officially qualifiers for the online campus slots. So I cater to them and at the same time, my capacity here as the ELD instructor is to give some kind of content and language support for our ELD students or multilingual learners. That's how we call them now, who are in I say your, Miss Winters, because you are the department chair of English department, which is one of the biggest departments we have at the online campus. So if ever we have students in the regular classes, I also push in sometimes to support them. If not, then they normally come to me during the embedded ELD support session in my workload or in the schedule.
Yes. Thank you so much for elaborating on your position. And I've heard so many great things from our multi-language learners and other students, even outside of your realm, upon what you're doing. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah, I forgot about them, Miss Winters. Yeah, I have some general ed students too, because I also teach, by the way, college and career. And at the same time, I have some groups of mentees, and I also have my own homeroom advisory class during Trailblazer time.
Okay.
I miss that. I love
So
them.
almost everyone. Okay, no worries. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and first start off, and I'm just gonna be asking you some questions because your column was extremely interesting to us when we received it, and it
Okay.
featured a lot about artificial intelligence. So that would be our primary theme within this interview. So I
All
want
right.
to know what inspired you to write about the impact of AI on education for your maiden column?
Okay. Well, last month, basically, I attended a free webinar on the matter on artificial intelligence, especially in education, which was very much specifically tailored to our ELLs or our ELD program. So I got interested because actually, Ms. Winters, the webinar is not offered by our ELD office. It was more of like an external agency, but I got connection somehow through email. And so that's how I got interested at first. So I joined that um, webinar and I got so interested with the topic. So after having learned something, just a little bit about AI and how we can use it as a tool for our ELD programs. So I started to think of, maybe it's a good topic so that I can share with our online campus community through a column. And since you have given me the um, chance to share in your magazine, so I said, okay, maybe I can discuss something about AI and its connections to education slash ELD.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Ringen, because artificial intelligence is such a hot topic, especially here at the
Mhm.
online campus, and we trying to discover what are ways we can counter it. But I think it's starting to turn around, and we're starting to find out what are ways they can benefit the teachers, the students, and the parents.
And the
And
parents, exactly.
yes, and I love the fact that you step outside your realm and you're attending a webinar, whether it's like county related or not, because there's so many different perspectives and your knowledge coupled with others and bringing it back here, that just helps us improve our education and our knowledge as well. So thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
number two, thank you. In your view, what are the most significant advantages of AI in the educational sector?
Okay, so well, I'll contextualize my response to your question number two, Miss Winters, because I want to connect it to the program that I'm more well versed with. So contextually, in my field of pedagogy, especially TESOL or teaching English for speakers of other languages, or we can possibly call it now TELD, teaching English language development. AI, I think, has promising advantages in helping teachers to develop better lesson plans. That's, I think, the first advantage I see. This can be integrated, of course, okay, and made available through research based on the current trends in the field of ESL, English as a second language. So I think it helps ESOL teachers in general to integrate linguistic accommodations and maybe linguistic modifications as well to the not just the ESOL based lessons, but more so with content based lessons in which we are asked to support our colleagues in the mainstream classes. Besides, artificial intelligence can also help teachers in general in developing better lesson plans that cater to the, our four macro language skills, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I think
Mhm.
well, that's for me.
Yes, thank you. Well said, especially within lesson plans, because I mean, as educators, we take so many different PDs, we come from different schools and things of that nature. We have so many different certifications, but it's
Yeah.
always nice to get an additional perspective. So I think that's a great advantage that you mentioned. All right. And number three, could you elaborate on some specific examples of AI applications that have transformed teaching and learning processes?
Well, as I have mentioned earlier, the transformative applications can be seen or can be gleaned from the way artificial intelligence readily provides instructional lesson plans, instructional structure, or strategies, okay, or maybe lesson designs, that is, that can be tailored uh, by us teachers based on specific needs that we have. In my case, as an ELD practitioner, then I need to filter the AI tools that may be available out there based on the needs of our ELD or multilingual learners. And I think this also goes true for our general education students to a greater extent. So nowadays, with artificial intelligence, you simply just no, we need to define first, by the way, parameters. Um, yeah, parameters of what we need for a certain lesson, for instance. And once you put that in on the AI platform, I don't know if that's the term,
Mhm.
well, bingo, it produces or it yields amazing suggestions or recommendations. So case in point is the Chat GPT. I started exploring the Chat GPT just recently.
Yeah.
And if I may mention, thanks to Dr. Jonathan Lopez Torres of our math department, he was actually the first colleague I have
Mhm.
here at our online campus to make mention of AI before to me. So because I never had any idea before, and then he showed me the Chat GPT thing, and that was prior to um, the programs or webinars that are now offered by ELD office along the line of this topic.
Yes. Thank you. And shout out to Dr. Lopez Torres as
Yep.
well with the insight. Yes. And
Uh-huh.
I noticed how you mentioned Chat GPT and we know about others, Eduate and so forth. And it seems like it requires a lot of prompt engineering. I think we could probably have a
That's
whole
true.
class on how to develop certain prompts to tailor what we want AI to try to assist us with within
That's
education.
right.
Awesome. Four, how can educators balance the use of AI tools with the need for human interaction and emotional intelligence in the classroom?
Hmm. That's, I think, $1 million question. Well, AI, as the name says, it is artificial intelligence. So
Mhm.
technically, it is like a machine. It is a machine. So there is no way the soft skills or the social emotional learning components of our teaching learning process can be governed all along by this new technology. What I mean by that, Ms. Winters, is we cannot rely entirely on the AI to suit those other aspects, the humanist factor that
Mhm.
go with our job as teachers. Teachers are still indispensable. So that's where the human factor, I think, comes in. So talking about balancing, I think that is up to us educators to to how they call this, to provide the needed human support or intervention, um, at least to caution our um, students as they engage with this new technology in learning. I'm not saying we junk it off because, as I said, and I also wrote that in my my submitted article to your publication, that uh, AI has a lot of promises. So let's turn the table to our favor. But we cannot also deny the fact that there are possible, shall I say, disadvantages too, because this is a new thing. We do not know the sort of the darker side of
Mhm.
AI. So I think that's where we can balance things out. So the teacher should still be the sort of the facilitator, um, not just of the learning process itself, but
Mhm.
the usage of such AI in delivering that particular lesson.
I completely agree, Mr. Renion, because again, even though we're using artificial intelligence, we still need that authenticity to connect with our students.
Mhm.
So I love when we have those opportunities like Trailblazer Time to learn about
Yeah.
certain social skills or how students can deal with certain social issues, or even Project 24, where they choose a social issue to
Mhm.
actually try to go and deliver to their cater to their community and things of that
Sure.
nature. So definitely try to preserve that authenticity. It starts with us and our discernment.
Mhm. Mhm. I
Absolutely.
agree.
Thank you. Number 5,
Welcome.
what role do you see AI playing in personalized learning, and how can it address individual student needs?
Before I answer that, Ms. Winters, I thought our interview is over. So now it's beginning to feel like, is this a quiz?
Oh,
But no,
no, no, no, no worries.
I'm
We can
just kidding.
yeah.
Uh, well, thank you for that question, Ms. Winters. So what role do I see AI plays in our personalized learning? Well, with proper training, proper exposure, and orientation for our students to properly use the AI tool. And by the way, this not only applies to students, it also applies to us, professionals, by the way, adult professionals. AI has already been designed, I think, for a more personalized learning in itself. So I believe that that is the initial intent of whoever the engineers behind this is smart nerdy technocrats, if you will, who developed the AI technology. So to make it an efficient tool for personalized learning, we need to integrate it to education and see that AI can be used for, let's say, a scaffolded learning, differentiated learning, and somehow a more laser focused kind of intervention uh, based on the needs of our students. So let's say ELLs, or maybe students with disabilities, those with IEPs or 504s. So once we have identified what their needs are, I think AI can be used to develop further apps or further. I can't explain the technicalities, Ms. Winters, but something to that effect. Okay, like through AI, we can use it to sort of sort out things that need to be intervened or need to be remedied by
Mm,
us educators. Then I think that's how we can develop it for personalized learning.
absolutely. Well said. Thank you. Number 6, how might AI help teachers with time management and other administrative tasks?
God, well, I'll be honest. I just mentioned that in sort of in passing in my article, and I admit my limitations, Miss Winters. I hope you understand and you don't mind. I'm not an administrator, first off, okay? I'm just a plain
Okay.
teacher doing my pedagogy, teaching our kids. Okay. But
Yes.
so honestly, I haven't explored that area yet, especially on the administrative lane. Maybe Dr. Bullock does, or Mrs. Martin or Miss Camera. So
Yes.
while I mention it in my column that I submitted to you, to me, it is more like a side thought. Okay. When I was writing it, since we both know as teachers, our job is not simply to teach, right?
Hmm.
So we also have somehow an administrative element to our roles as well. So back to your question, I think AI can develop some kind of a program that can release teachers, sort of a gradual release of teachers from the physical burden of doing the administrative function. Let's say a grading system structure, or maybe enrollment or registration thingy. Yes, I know there are still some schools. I may not be talking about our own online campus, knowing that we are now into the digital thingy, but there's still, I think, some physical in-person schools that do things the traditional way. So maybe AI can help us in that aspect. And so that's how I see the administrative application of AI. So
Well,
sort of data consolidation or management information system, something to that effect.
yes. It seems as if being a catalyst, like at least a brainstorming tool, put in whatever engineering prompt that you want to put in, and then,
Mhm.
okay, I never thought of this idea, and at least building off of it, I think
Yeah,
could also help as well.
you're
Thanks.
right. Absolutely.
Awesome. Number 7, what impact does AI have on student data analysis and the optimization of school schedules and resources?
Okay. Well, I foresee AI's application into this area like student data analysis or the much like a statistical tool or platform, something to that effect, where you just input the data available we have, but unprocessed, like raw data, if you may, and then let AI process it through, the well-built engineering or some kind of programming or codes they have. And then that provides, of course, our school administration, specifically with some kind of infographics, summative charts, something like that, which in turn help them guide and implement whatever programs they want to implement for the betterment of our teachers, our students, and the community in general.
Well said. Interesting. Interesting take. At one point, I was also thinking about student data analysis in terms of certain AI platforms generating like subjective feedback to students.
Mhm.
That's like immediate.
That's right.
Yes. Awesome. And number 8, how do you foresee AI preparing students for future jobs that may not yet exist?
Very interesting. Actually, I have touched on this matter a little bit, Miss Winters, because as I said, I also teach CCRD in
Mm,
our school. So normally, I share with them out of the from, let's say, from the Bureau of Labor, what are available computer science based kind of jobs are there, and I normally share it with our CCRD students at the online campus. Well, in line with that. AI, I guess, helps the students to sharpen their how they call this, their computer based or STEM based skills. That's how
mm,
I see AI's role in preparing students for maybe future jobs that are not existent yet. Well, I cannot define or describe to you now what are those possible jobs out there, but definitely they will sprout like mushroom all
yeah,
along. Okay, after
yeah.
maybe 5 years or so, or maybe 10 years. In fact, some of the with the fast paced development of AI right now, I
Mhm.
think we don't even need to wait for 5 years or a decade for us to see what new jobs will be available out there. I think they're very immediate whenever there are innovations or changes in the platform or in the engineering platform. So with that, I think AI helps our students improve or maybe add some kind of the foundational technical skills, okay, added to their repertoire of what they already have. Since we
Mhm.
all know for a fact that most of our students right now, they are all considered 21st century learner. They're very much accessible and exposed to digital learning, digital platform. So I guess AI is just there to just guide them and maybe improve further their skills in order to be prepared for whatever jobs might be available out there in the future. So I cannot tell you specifics, as I said, as I'm not an expert in the field, but the chances are AI promises rather a lot of generating newfound job opportunities in the near future. I say near because, as I said, it's very fast paced. Okay. In fact,
Yeah.
AI, we never had that maybe 5 years ago. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But now it's like the buzzword in our rapidly shrinking global world.
Yes. Absolutely. It's so refreshing to hear your response because there have been so many kind of like I don't want to say pessimistic, but
Mhm.
inquisitive views of, well, I mean, we have the self-checkouts, who's
Oh
going to be
yeah,
our cashier? So if we have
yeah.
Alexa, who's going to actually take the time out to
Uh-huh.
discover the answers to the math problem. So
That's
it's
right.
very
That's
your
right.
response is very refreshing.
Or drone deliveries of commercial items that we order. Used to be,
Right,
okay, we go to the
right.
store. Oh, I gotta buy something in Giant. So nowadays, I think those are AI based jobs or work. So
Yes,
who
absolutely.
knows what comes next?
Quite exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, but
It
I
is.
think it's also a little bit intimidating, Miss Winters.
Yes,
Mhm.
I definitely understand that because also if we think about our careers, like, are we competing with AI even though it may be helping us? You
Yeah,
know, definitely understand that type of paranoia.
that's true.
Number 9, what ethical considerations should educators keep in mind when implementing AI technologies in schools?
Mhm. Wow. We are both aware as online campus staff that we orient our students yearly about the importance of, shall I say, following online learning norms or conduct, etiquette, if you may. I think
Yes.
there should be filters. To answer your question, Miss Winters, I think there should be built-in filters through whatever AI programs we may use in the future.
Mm.
AI that will be made available, of course, for our students and teachers alike. And these filters or systems or structures that will guide proper and appropriate usage of this technology must be governed by these norms, must be governed by these etiquettes or proper use of educational technology. We cannot allow students and even professionals to use AI, let's say, to plagiarize. I know this is one of your big topics in your regular English classes
Oh,
because you're teaching them research. So hence there's a need really to, I go back to my point earlier, Miss Winters, there should still be a human intervention. Um, what else? I think part of the ethical consideration too is that to make AI a tool not to empower our students to further the issue of cyberbullying.
mm,
Trying our best to eliminate that, not just here in our country, but I think it's a global phenomenon. It's a cultural universal nowadays, cyberbullying.
mhm.
No, AI should not be used for that. Or worse, to use or to expose our students to what we call the deep fakes. I heard over the news just recently. I think the actress Scarlett Johansson, her voice, I think, or even her image was used without her knowing it, without her permission, for a certain AI thingy.
Oh,
Also, I think that there is an ethical violation there in itself. So we
yes.
need really to have safeguards on this matter. Otherwise, instead of having AI as something proactive tool, it becomes more of a danger to
Yeah.
society. And that's what we don't want AI to go to.
Mm. Beautiful response, Mr. Renion. And I love how you mentioned, just the whole how academic honesty plays in, how being a digital
Yes.
citizen plays in, and just
Mhm.
being a humanitarian, because that's what we want our students and ourselves to be able to facilitate. So I
That's right.
look I look forward to, I never thought I would say this, to the laws that will soon erupt from this, but
Mhm.
I'm just hoping it just doesn't become like, I guess, split ends, where it's too intense. But yes, well said.
That's why our role as teachers in this matter is really crucial. I think we
Mhm.
need to be lobbyists too for that kind of, if we want to adopt AI, then we need to lobby for those structures or maybe regulations, if you may,
Yeah,
in the educational usage of AI technology.
absolutely. This is something that we definitely should bring to Dr. Bullock as a PD
Yeah,
opportunity. Wink, wink.
that's right. That's no, you're right.
Yeah,
Absolutely right. Yeah.
I love that idea. And lastly, can you share any success stories or case studies where AI has significantly improved educational outcomes?
Outcomes. Okay. I will not go to a big kind of stuff. I will just localize my response to your question there, Ms. Winters. I will not go away or move away from our own experience here at the online campus. Somehow I work with you indirectly because I also have your mentees, and I think you have also some of my my ELD before. So normally when I meet them or I give them some kind of support, I use, somehow I'm already using AI through the chat GPT. So my success for that, Ms. Winters, would be it helped me browse, adopt, and at the same time add to my portfolio of learning, mini lessons, if you may, to support our students, not just the ELD students, all our online campus students who pass my hands in a way. So there, I think I count that as a success because when I adopted some mini lessons, let's say to reinforce a certain lesson you probably have discussed in English, or
Yes.
maybe Miss Shelton discussed in her uh, government class, or Miss Robertson's history class, in which I also work with them. So normally, I use that for some kind of a differentiated uh, lesson for them during the academic support session. And I think I see that the reception by students is clear. So the students, as I assess them, whether informally or formally, I see that they're understanding those topics based on what I simply adopted from AI. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not entirely my own effort or thinking that I infuse into that particular intervention session, but
Mhm.
I directly apply what I get from the, let's say, the chat GPT list of ideas, and bingo, the students are getting it. So I think that is a success in itself.
Absolutely. I love how you brought it back domestically upon what
Mhm.
we're doing here, your experiences at the online campus. Thank you. All right. Mr. Rinion, you have just been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for your
Oh, good.
flexibility. Thank you for all that you do inside the English language development department and outside of the English language department at the online campus and even within our community. And I look forward to hearing what the general public has to say in terms of your column as well as the quiz that we'll be implementing as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Miss Winters. I appreciate you as the founding editor-in-chief and publication manager of our maiden trailblazer times. Please keep the excellent work up, and by extension, our students who are your staff writers. So Godspeed, and congratulations also to all of you for making use of journalism, campus journalism, as a tool to disseminate information. Of course, that is educational information. And I'm just honored to be part of it with this coming up issue. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's it from the Trailblazer Times. Tune in next time for our next interview.